Hello, hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. My name is Talia Joy. How are you doing? We are going to talk today far and wide. We are going to expand into the cosmos. We are going to talk about the Phoenix moment, the transformation and the power of letting some things burn to the ground. So this is when the old you, the old us, but not the true essence, just the stories, the habits, the patterns, the identities that no longer serve you. This is the point, the moment where we have to burn them down in order for the newness to rise. The new, not new you as in you're changing, but the new life, the dream life, the ease, the abundance, the new dynamics and habits and situations. And I'm not talking in this episode about the small, teeny tiny shifts. We're talking about the full-blown, the fire, the ashes, the wings, the emergence, the rebirth, the real transformation that leaves you feeling lighter, feeling freer, feeling more authentic, feeling more fully you, fully expressed, fully alive, a little bit wild and weird. This episode is for the person, the soul, the self-growth baddie that is, I don't think I've ever said baddie, even though I'm hearing everyone say it. Let's go with it. The self-growth baddie who is done sitting by in the lobby of their life, waiting for someday, waiting for the elevator to open. It's for the person who is ready to go all in, into the building, into the infrastructure, into the arena, into the room to step into their power. And sometimes, as you know, because you've done it before, sometimes that old stuff has to burn. I think of that music video that Pink has, I think it's to Funhouse, and she just fucking burns a building down and she's like trit-trotting, dancing away. Sometimes that's what we have to do. And sometimes that does look like relationships, careers, businesses, different dynamics, as I said, habits, mentalities, identities, suffering. Sometimes we get to a point where we are sick of our own shit and we need to let it burn, let it die, let it rebirth so we can emerge. And I know, like I just said, you've done this before, but this is what we're talking about today. And it's not always talked about. The dream life, the, making the money, having the love, that stuff's talked about all the time. But the depth that it actually takes, not just to step into it as if it's hard, I mean the depth within yourself to trust in this higher vision of you, to move past the identities and the labels and the shame and the guilt that has been put on you, the limits of the past, to rebirth, to transform, to step into that something more takes bravery. Not necessarily confidence, because confidence comes after, but bravery. Bravery means you're scared, but you're doing it. And that's what it really does take to step into the more that you want, the life that you want. You relate to the butterfly, you relate to the phoenix, you relate to the transformation, and in the middle is a gooey, sticky, uncertain process where there is the point where you have to let shit go. So if you're ready, if you've been going through this, if you want to jam on this, if you want to get a little bit like, activated and lit up, let's do this episode. I'm really excited because we're not waiting for someday. We're not dipping our toe. We are here. Time is ticking. Life is moving, right? Let's get in the flow and move with it. Okay, with that, I think I'm good. Take a sip of water, drop your shoulders, and let's get into this episode. So let's talk about the burn. The process of transformation, as you will read in my upcoming book, the process of transformation involves something dying. And when I say death, I know 99% of you know what I'm talking about, but I don't mean people dying. I don't mean you have to die, nothing scary. It's everything I was talking about in the intro, the burning down of the old ways to emerge, right? So when I say die and death, because I might say it a lot in this episode, that's what we're talking about. So talking about the burn within the transformation involves that something must go because you're wanting and craving more in life. So if we look at the process of transformation in whatever way you think about it, in self-growth, in health, maybe it's healing, maybe it's relationships, whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you're going for, that process of transformation is going to involve some things falling away so that that newness can come. The old version of you that has been through a lot, that had certain patterns, that have played out certain things over and over and over again, there are parts of that you, because it's all kind of false anyway. we'll hopefully this will make sense by the end. We'll get there. But the old parts of you who may be addicted to suffering, addicted to being unsupported, that hit me hard like a few months ago. Addicted to trying to control, to being unclear, or at least addicted to not believing in themselves, or self-deprecating, or putting it off, or thinking they can't do it. We need to look at these things, but that part of us has got to go, has got to be released and recycled back into the cosmos in order to create what you want. And yes, it can feel heavy, but we call out into the night, right? We tell the universe what we want. We have our desires. We're launching them all the time. So life's like, okay, I can bring you these, but you need to meet me at least halfway. The universe wants us to learn. I believe that our soul and the universe and God and spirit and vibes are wanting us to be refined by life. So as we desire higher things, things are going to come in that ask us to let go of the old. And in my book, I talk about how all transformation starts with an initiation, where we get a nudge, we get a niggle, we get a desire. And sometimes it's a nudge that something's not working. This career isn't working, this relationship, this addiction, this whatever it is. We kind of get the nudge, but we're not ready yet. That's the initiation. Or it could be in the other way, where certain information starts dripping into your life slowly, where you start hearing about things, you start having like a seed planted. This is all the initiation. But as you move through that, as you know what you want more of, health, money, freedom, love, expression, joy, magic, as you know more of what you want, you will be asked to let go what is not conducive, what is not a match, what contrasts that which you say you want. So when we are feeling unsupported, or when we do have habits that are just straight up not in our highest good in any way, we will be asked to let them go. When there's a job that makes your soul bleed, I don't know why that came up, but you want to put forks in your eyes every day, and it feels like it's almost killing you. Or a certain belief about lack and scarcity and money, and it feels like it's suffocating you. A relationship that is just not right, but you're in it for whatever reason, because we're complicated and we love ourselves anyway. But these things, they suck our magic, but it's not about like you should just do whatever. It's life asking us to rebirth. Life saying, okay, your transformation is happening. Are you getting on the train? It's not just there. The contrast is not just there to piss you off or to frustrate you, or, we stay in the loops, whereas we're getting the information we need. We're getting the information of like, this career does not work. Something with my money situation has to change. My belief around this is not working. This thing that I'm doing feels worse and worse every time I do it. We get the breakthrough, but we need to let the old die. But we do have all these micro addictions, even if it's not to sugar, to drugs, to alcohol, it's also to dysfunction or to the patterns. I know recently I've seen in my recent goo time of this addiction to almost like people pleasing or like low self-worth actions where it's almost impulsive and it's like I feel small and it's like the more I see it, I'm like, but I know I'm not that. So it's time to almost release the addiction to the suffering. That may be you, that may not be what it is that is keeping you in the pattern, but transformation always asks something to go. It asks us to see, okay, you get it. Transformation requires, there we go, something to go. And yes, it can feel heavy. It can feel like things are crumbling. It can feel very uncertain. And I've been there recently. I've been talking to you guys a bit about it, and I actually feel like this is no formal announcement or anything, but I feel like my business is going through a burn and rebirth. I don't know exactly what that means, but I have this feeling of like, let's just burn everything down to the ground. And if I could start from scratch, what do I actually want to do? And that initiation is strong. It's calling me. And it's a good thing. Expansion is good. Transformation is good. So even though it feels unclear, that's a good thing because we don't know what's next. We don't know the magic. We need to just learn. And as we go through these things, like let shit go with the certainty that something better is taking its place. Because we see letting go as giving something up. Our brain sees it as having less, right? Like if you give up half your ice cream to your sister when you're a kid, you have less ice cream. So we look at everything. If I give this up, there will be a void. But that, my love, is where the magic happens. That's where we get to transition into who we've been becoming. And I realized recently, just maybe a couple months ago, maybe even a little bit less, in all of this goo and this heaviness that I've been going through, because it, as I've shared, it's gotten heavy. It's been this total like dark night, really weird time. But I realized that I went into the healing work and I went into like witnessing the abandonment wound and witnessing how I self-reject and how I, again, people please and these things. And I'm in it and I'm in it and I'm in it. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm done being in it. I'm done putting my focus on the wound. I really learned a lot about somatics and nervous system, or more applied a lot that I had already learned, a year before initiation. A couple years before I've been learning about this, and I really have got to practice it recently. But through that, I all of a sudden was like, bing, okay, I'm ready for the light. I don't want to focus always on decoding every little abandonment pattern. I don't want to focus all the time on what is not working, because life happens in the working. Life happens in the light, in the intuition, in the play, in acting when something feels really good, not hyper analyzing all the bad stuff. And that's when I realized enough suffering, enough overthinking, enough replaying what could be this and what could be that. And I need to, regulate every time this happens. And yes, I will regulate. I've already done it 17 times today. I will continue to, but I'm going to focus on the light. The phoenix doesn't tiptoe around the fire. She walks straight into it. And in that fire, the old self burns away as a liberation. So I'm in the fire, and then I'm almost staying in the fire when I'm like still in the thing. And then all of a sudden, as I just shared, I go like, okay, I'm ready for the light. I look at that as like everything burns away, and then there has to be the emergence. Let yourself emerge. Let yourself walk out of it. It's almost like sometimes we need to like go into therapy or mentorship to kind of figure something out if it's a life thing. And then we got to go live it. You're not meant to be dwelling in the past or in what's wrong. Well, why do I do this? Yeah, that's helpful to a point. And then we need to face the light. You need to be around people who are in the light, consuming material that is in the light. When we realize that we are the product of everything that we're consuming, I even noticed in my darker time, I was more watching like true crime and all of a sudden now I'm like, I want to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and laugh, or I want to consume like a completely different mentor's energy because now I want to play and be magic and quantum leap, but I've just been through it. But we need to allow the process of transformation, stay in the process, allow it to move through you. So instead of just thinking more and more and more about what's going wrong, I realized enough suffering, enough overthinking, enough replaying. Let's do this. Let's rise. Let's be it. Be, do, have. Because after the burn comes the ashes. And in the ashes, that's that liminal space where everything feels empty and weird and confusing. And if you go back in my episodes for the last few months, that's a lot of what I've been in, uncomfortable. And that's exactly the point. That is the space where the sacredness has yet to take form, but where creation is about to happen. This is where the magic is born. I want you to imagine that, you're in a relationship that's not working well, or imagine someone in that, but they're really wanting like soulmate love. Well, they can't physically put soulmate love on top of what they already have. So while we're in one relationship, it's like we're delaying our growth instead of ending that so that the new can come, right? That's just a metaphor for the way that energy works. We need to be in that space of ashes that sometimes truly just honestly feels like it sucks. But the more we go like, okay, from this place, this is where the seed is being planted for the light. So most people get stuck here in the ashes. They're overthinking, they're overanalyzing. I'm putting my hand up, that's what I was doing, waiting for clarity to appear. Not really what they were, but not quite where they're going. You could call this the goo phase. I see in my own life that when I got sucked into the heaviness, when I got sucked into thinking I need to figure it out before I could move, that is when it got the heaviest and the weirdest. But the truth is that ashes, that void space, that goo space is fertile. Ashes themselves are fertile. They seem like the product of destruction, right? Like physical ashes after you've had a campfire or whatever, a fire, in your stove or something, wood burning stove, no house fires. Okay. Ashes are actually fertile. Don't people put ashes on their garden, right? To pump up whatever it is, nitrogen. I'm just going to pretend I know what I'm talking about. Ashes are the launch pad to what's coming. You can't skip it, but you also don't want to stay in it for too long, right? Because after the ashes comes the rise. And that's what I'm talking about of like, F it enough, 2 feet in. I'm not sitting in the lobby of my dreams. I'm walking into the building. Then comes the rise. The phoenix spreads her wings, takes flight, right? Or the butterfly comes out of the chrysalis, gets on a branch, dries off her wings, and starts to take flight. And that's the magic. And I want you to think about the fact that you can't feel ready before you fly. The butterfly has physically never done it before that first time. Feeling ready is probably not a thing that a butterfly is aware of. They just go with instinct. They just go with intuition. They've never done it before. They've been a caterpillar way down there. And now they're just going to leap off a branch, right? You step into the energy of who you're becoming now. Most people wait for the perfect conditions, for everything to align, especially clarity. Most people are waiting to be clear, to create the plan before they go forward. Or they're waiting for the money, for the time, for the confidence, for the space next weekend that's supposed to come. But that can be a trap because real transformation, happens when you decide, I am her now. When you act boldly, when you trust your intuition, when you leap, even if it feels risky. Being in the light, being brave, but as soon as intuition hits, act on it. As soon as intuition gives you that nudge, that zing, that buzz, you leap. That would be the way to move forward, the way that I see it, the fastest. It feels like the magic formula. Be in the light, be in the fun, the lightness, the play, the magic, and as you get a hit, act on it. And that is where the fun comes in. That is the place that I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done in the goo. I'm done in the analyzing. I am ready for the light. the light, the play, the magic. And even today, as I started feeling like a trigger that made my heart like beat, it was just like this tightening, and our whole nervous system does it. I put on the most fun song and I danced till the end of the song. And then I'm like, wow, I feel so much better. Whereas 4 months ago or 6 months ago, I would have been like, oh, I'm triggered. What is that? Oh, it's lack. It's scarcity. Oh, where did that come from? Or why did I get into lack and scarcity? Okay, how can I reframe this? Which is all very beneficial, but not forever. Not in each problem forever. We go through seasons of depth and emotion and energy and healing, but we have to rise. So right now, today, when I felt a heart-beating moment of tension inside because of a lack thought, because of a scarcity thing that came up, I literally just started jumping. I was like in my kitchen. I'm like, nope, shake it off. I started jumping and I immediately came upstairs, put on the most fun song I could think of, danced the whole thing, and felt so much better after. We have to learn to feel it now, and you get to have fun now. You get to be in the light now, in the play, in the magic. Rising actually doesn't mean more suffering and more work and more heavy. It means being fully alive while you rise. Dancing, laughing, noticing the starlight, sipping your coffee, being in the moment. Embodying joy, taking that action from your intuition, that is life. And I want you to hear this. My spirit team said this to me. I think it was just earlier today, it might have been yesterday, but it was right into this. And they said, if you're always either like in the analyzing of the wound, or even in like, I'm going to make this much money soon, or, my next goal is this. If you're always in one of those, you're not in the here and now, but the here and now is where life is really happening. And you're showing life that you want more to be happy. You're showing life that you need something to be different to be happy. You're not actually in the life. It's like it's funny because so many of these thoughts are things that I've said and thought before, but the angle sometimes just hits different. And I got the visual of a movie theater and being in a movie theater, watching a movie, wishing you were in a different movie theater the entire time, involving like being on your phone and looking up the other movie and watching trailers and looking at the pros and cons and was it good while there's a movie in front of you. But if you want to live a joyful life, enjoy the movie in front of you now. Showing life that you can feel that buzz of like, ooh, yay, yeah. Whether it's let's go on a hike today, or I'm going to paint, or relationships that light you up, people that spark and activate light, being creative, being intuitive, moving your body, sparking joy. And this is where the fun comes in. And this is the place we manifest more fun. And this is where we can experience true joy and true fulfillment now. This is really how you quantum leap. This is how your Phoenix moment becomes the full-blown upgrade. But remember that we don't go from initiation, niggle, dream, goal straight into the rising. And that's where we put the pressure on ourselves. We think we just need to be that now, which is funny because I'm saying be it now. But it's not from a pressure, shame-based place. It's from a light-based place. That's a tongue twister. It's from allowing some shit to burn. Get rid of the clothes that don't align. Stop doing the things that don't feel good. Whether it's habits or people or, alcohol or certain foods or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. But when you know that it does not work anymore, we need to be brave enough to go, fine. Let's death and rebirth. So magic isn't floating in some far off dream. It's grounded in your body. It's choosing it right now. If we weren't addicted to suffering, if we weren't addicted to being unclear, if we weren't addicted to being unsupported, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, who would you be? So you want your life to feel magic? Start with something that brings you joy now. Dropping your shoulders. taking a deep breath. What would feel like play? What would feel like beauty? Can we laugh at life and how ironic it all is? And how the possibility that you are here right now as you are is like 1 in 17 million bajillion because of everything you've had to be to get here from a cell, from a speck in space. You are literally stardust. And the combination of your parents and your ancestors and where you're brought up and everything that's happened up until this moment, can you imagine that the chance that you are here right now as you are is like a freaking miracle? It's like 1 in a million that you've got this far, that you've done what you've done, that you've overcome what you have. Like, is it so not logical where you are and who you are? So it doesn't need to make sense moving forward. We don't need to decode everything. We need to learn to feel joy, feel magic now. And when you ground that into yourself, you will start to quantum leap. Life starts to respond to you differently. Transformation is not just a mental game or a spiritual concept. It's embodiment. It's living in the joy, in the energy, in the magic now. It's moving through the ashes. It's letting shit burn and walking away. We have no time, space, energy for that anymore. What do you want to create? How can you embody just more enjoyment? It doesn't have to be complicated. Take a second with your coffee, with your tea. Look at like the insanity of how beautiful certain flowers are, or trees, or a sunset or a sunrise. Be here now. Romanticize your life. Enjoy what's in front of you while being open to everything that could come, that everything that is to be, and even excited. Like, I've got this far in my life. I've overcome this and this and this already. Even though you may not right now be at one certain thing in your life, like you may not be exactly where you want to be with money, or you may not be exactly what you thought you would be in some other area, but look at what you've done already. Feel proud of yourself. Feel joy. Use that as evidence of what is possible for you in the future. So allow some things to burn, because there is so much better and more sparkly and more magical and more coincidental, let's go with it, more synchronistic than you can ever imagine. There's more of these things coming than you know. But it's asking you to let some things go. If your inner voice is like, man, we got to have a day a week where we just don't turn on social media, or I really need to give up alcohol, or I, really need to spend more time walking in nature. Listen to these nudges. Put yourself also in the room, physical or metaphoric or digital or whatever, with the energy that you want to embody. And I mean, even the content you consume, the people you are around, the people that are in your life. Of course, we don't always get to choose our family and some of the things and all that. But when you really look at, you are a sum of everything you're taking in, including books, including podcasts, including the people you hang out with and the people that you ask, what should I do? Or what do you think about this? Most people, if you wouldn't trade places with somebody for a day, don't ask them what they think about your something. That's just a side note. I don't know why that came up. But I want to ask you, where in your life are you holding on to heaviness, holding on to the old shell, holding on to the old way of being, the old patterns, the identities, the non-bravery that no longer serves you? Because you are a badass. You are resilient. You are strong. As I said, you've overcome a lot. So let's not hold on to that stuff. What's ready to burn? What is small? What is low-hanging fruit? What feels restrictive in your life? And what magical, playful act can you do today to start stepping into that energy of what you want to become? Whether it's dancing to a song, regulating your body, making an investment in yourself, watching a documentary or rereading a book, or getting yourself in a certain container. Maybe it's joining the retreat in September. Where do you want to really step into it? Not toe dipping, not in the lobby, but stepping into the life that you want. Because physics shows us that the energy that I forget what the law is, syncopation, I don't know, one of you will tell me, I'm sure, but it's a law that says that when we are in molecules that are in the same room will start to synchronize. And they say that clocks with a pendulum will actually synchronize if there's two clocks in the same room, even if they didn't start synchronizing, if it wasn't synchronized in the beginning. As you know, women's cycles synchronize up. There's different, like when we are around people, we tend to sync up with them. So careful who you're around, physically, digitally, what's going in your earbuds, what's going into your brain. But also ask yourself, where in your life are you holding on to the old identity, even if it no longer serves you? And what can you do that is magic, that is forward, that is Phoenix energy to step into that now? Just remember, the fire transforms me. The rushing river that you feel thrown around in sometimes is refining you like a river rock. The ashes are renewing. The light is ready to be full on, 10x'd within you. Woo! I hope that this served you, my love. And if you are looking for a container to fully step into this Phoenix moment, I have, first of all, a brand new 10-week mentorship container starting in September. It's one-on-one. It is not for the toe dipping. It is for the full-on, full-blown transformation for 10 weeks. And then, of course, we also have the retreat on Vancouver Island in September. I cannot wait to see you in one of these if you are that person. If you are in that, fuck it, let's go, let's do this. Time is ticking on. We make it happen now. And it can be light, and it can be joy, and it can be play, and it can be powerful. And things can happen fast. So if you're ready, reach out. The links are in the show notes. And other than that, I will see you in the next episode.